Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Modi opens a science and innovation conference in New Delhi, says focus on ease of doing research to build a modern innovation ecosystem. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar holds talks with his Bahraini counterpart in New Delhi, invites Bahraini investors to explore opportunities in India. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth travels to South Korea for talks, visits the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. And a 6.3 magnitude earthquake near Mazar-e-Sharif in Afghanistan kills at least 20 people. Relief and rescue operations on. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the Emerging Science, Technology and Innovation Conclave in New Delhi on Monday. Being held from 3rd to 5th November, the event brings together 3,000 participants from academia, industry and government, along with Nobel laureates. Deliberations focus on 11 thematic areas such as advanced material and manufacturing, artificial intelligence and blue economy. The Prime Minister released a vision document and a coffee table book on the occasion. In a major boost to research and development, the Prime Minister launched a 1 lakh crore rupee Research, Development and Innovation Fund. It aims to promote private sector-driven research and development ecosystem in the country. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister emphasized the need to understand the transformative power of science and technology and to ensure that they remain ethical and inclusive.
साथियों, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी की ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव पावर को समझें और साथ ही इन्हें एथिकल और इंक्लूसिव बनाएं। उदाहरण के लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को ही देखिए। आज रिटेल से लेकर लॉजिस्टिक तक, कस्टमर सर्विस से लेकर बच्चों के होमवर्क तक हर जगह एआई का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है। इसलिए हम भारत में भी एआई की शक्ति को समाज के हर वर्ग के लिए उपयोगी बना रहे हैं। इंडिया एआई मिशन में 10,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक का निवेश किया जा रहा है।
The Prime Minister highlighted that wherever India's space missions are discussed globally, Indian women scientists receive significant recognition.
दुनिया में जब भारत के स्पेस मिशंस की बात होती है तो उसमें इंडियन विमेन साइंटिस्ट की चर्चा बहुत ज्यादा होती है। पेटेंट फाइलिंग में भी भारत में महिलाओं द्वारा सालाना फील्ड पेटेंट्स की संख्या एक दशक पहले 100 से भी कम थी। अब ये सालाना 5,000 से भी ज्यादा तक पहुंच गई है। स्टेम एजुकेशन में भी महिलाओं का शेयर करीब 43% है, जो कि ग्लोबल एवरेज से भी ज्यादा है।
And DD India's Akshay Dongre speaks exclusively to Nobel laureate Professor Andre Geim on the margins of the conference. Take a listen.
We are in New Delhi right now at the Emerging Science and Technology and Innovation Conclave, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi not only inaugurated the conclave, but also motivated the country to take up more steps as far as India's science and technology sector is concerned. And with us, we have a special guest, Nobel laureate Professor Andrew Geim with us. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us. First of all, my question is about the progress that India has made in the recent years as far as innovation is concerned, science and technology. What have you noticed? How would you rate India's progress in science and technology so far, at least in the last 1 decade?
I have been in India several times, and probably first time it was 15 years ago. Since then I have seen a dramatic progress. It's not only in medicine or in digital technology, which all the world knows about, but I see how the roads has changed during the last decade, how cleaner and more prosperous India has become. And of course we know that without science and technology there would be no progress. So today's conference shows the dedication of the Indian government to support this progress, to invest at the very basic of the pyramid all our prosperity is based on, and this is of course science and technology.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's role in pushing these reforms in a country like India? How do you see his role as the Prime Minister? And he has been pushing, the progress in science and technology and all the other areas of research and development, from digital technology to defense and all other sectors. How do you view his role?
It's the first time I met Prime Minister Modi. I don't know him personally. I was very impressed how personally he addresses the audience. He really a great speaker, orator, essentially. But what I also see from international newspapers, from his speeches which go into the West, that he is kind of a person who seems to be defending not only India but the rest of the world against bullies and their sycophants.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you.
So that was Nobel laureate Andrew Geim with us, talking about the progress that India has made in the last 1 decade, especially when it comes to research, when it comes to innovation, science and technology, and the role of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in pushing these reforms in our country of 1.4 billion people. With camera person Vinod Oja, Makshay Dongre, DD India.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met Bahrain's Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani in New Delhi on Monday. The Bahraini minister is on a 2-day visit to India. The ministers co-chair the 5th India-Bahrain Joint Commission meeting. Minister Jaishankar reiterated India's support for the Gaza peace plan and hoped that it will bring about a lasting and durable solution.
We have also seen a steady growth of bilateral trade and investment between our countries. We welcome investors from Bahrain to come and explore investment opportunities in India. Conclusion of a bilateral investment treaty and the establishment of a joint working group on trade and investment will further boost our economic ties. We are working on various initiatives to strengthen our cooperation in the field of healthcare. Our space agencies are also making progress for deepening their collaboration. We have a vibrant cooperation in area of culture, strong people-to-people ties. Earlier this year, we launched the electronic visa system for Bahraini nationals. This, I hope, will encourage more visitors from Bahrain. I take the opportunity to reiterate our support for the Gaza peace plan, which we hope will lead to a lasting and durable solution.
Now, Bahrain's foreign minister, for his part, said that India continues to be one of Bahrain's primary trading partners, and both nations recognize that economic cooperation is essential for promoting peace.
Our rich historical ties extends back nearly 5,000 years, rooted in trade and cultural exchange between the ancient civilizations of Dilmun and the Indus Valley. Today, these economic links remain central to our relationship, which has flourished across various fields. India continues to be one of Bahrain's primary trading partners, and both our nations recognize that economic cooperation and interdependence are essential for promoting peace, stability, and shared prosperity.
A Center for Bay of Bengal Studies has been established in Shillong under a think tank called Asian Confluence to provide research and promote dialogue among stakeholders in the Bay of Bengal region. BIMSTEC Secretary General Indramani Pandey and former Minister of State for External Affairs Rajkumar Ranjan Singh inaugurated the centre. DD India Sarang Pofle speaks exclusively to Ambassador Pandey.
Can BIMSTEC emerge for India an alternative for SAARC, especially because BIMSTEC has an advantage of connectivity to Indo-Pacific and also connectivity to Southeast Asian countries through Bay of Bengal and absence of a problematic member.
When it was conceived in 1997, it was conceived as an organization that will bring the two regions of Asia together, and that's the role it has taken forward by engaging in cooperation on a number of sectors on its agenda, by establishing institutions which can take forward that cooperation, by negotiating agreements and conventions. When we look at Indo-Pacific, we are talking about a vast region. Then when we look at different geographical parts of Indo-Pacific, then we find that Bay of Bengal is almost at the center of Indo-Pacific. And as you mentioned at the beginning, it's a very strategically important region for India and for the member states around Bay of Bengal. BIMSTEC signifies that there is a convergence in the interest of India and other 6 member states when it comes to enhancing security or taking forward the agenda of sustainable and resilient development. So BIMSTEC has a very important role to play because it's like a confluence of India's Act East policy, India's neighborhood first policy, India's approach to Indo-Pacific as signified in Sagar, and recently Honorable Prime Minister coined Mahasagar concept. So it's a confluence of all the 3 strands of India's foreign policy.
An earthquake killed at least 20 people in Afghanistan just months after another deadly tremor left the country reeling. According to the US Geological Survey, a 6.3 magnitude quake struck overnight at a depth of 28 kilometers with the epicenter near the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. More than 20 people were killed and 320 injured in the provinces of Balkh and Samangan. Balkh province's spokesperson said parts of city's famed Blue Mosque were damaged. Rescue operations are underway to save people trapped under the debris. Afghanistan is vulnerable to earthquakes because the country is located on 2 major active faults that have the potential to rupture and cause extensive damage. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar called Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi of Afghanistan to convey his condolences at the loss of lives in the earthquake. Minister Jaishankar wrote on X, and I quote, "Called FM Maulavi Amir Khan Muttaqi of Afghanistan this afternoon to convey condolences at the loss of lives in the earthquake that struck Balkh, Samangan and Baghlan provinces. Indian relief material for the earthquake-impacted communities is being handed over today. Further supplies of medicines to reach soon." Discussed progress in our bilateral relationship since his visit. Welcomed the improving people-to-people contacts between India and Afghanistan. Appreciated the exchange of views on the regional situation. Unquote. Still to come on DD India Live. France to build modular prisons to slash costs and delays. And Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan sworn in for a 2nd term as president.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. US President Trump alleged Sunday that countries including Russia and China have conducted underground nuclear tests unknown to the public and that the US would follow suit. In an interview to US TV channel CBS on Sunday, Trump said that the US should not be the only country that does not test, adding that North Korea to the list of nations allegedly testing their arsenal. Confusion has surrounded Trump's order that the US begin testing, particularly if he meant conducting the country's first nuclear explosion since 1992. Meanwhile, China has denied testing nuclear weapons after US President Trump alleged that the country was among those to have conducted tests unknown to the public.
As a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a responsible nuclear weapon state, China has always adhered to the path of peaceful development, pursued a policy of no first use of nuclear weapons, upheld a self-defense nuclear strategy, and abided by its commitment to suspend nuclear testing.
U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Monday toured the demilitarized zone bordering North Korea during his visit to South Korea. A military helicopter carrying him landed at a U.S. base near the Joint Security Area in the demilitarized zone, where he boarded a tour bus accompanied by his South Korean counterpart. The U.S. and South Korea defense ministers are scheduled to hold an annual security consultative meeting on Tuesday, the highest level forum where the two countries chart the course of their military alliance and South Korea's defense against nuclear-armed North Korea. South Korea's defense ministry said that they will discuss combined defense readiness against North Korea and cooperation on regional security, cyber and missile defense. Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan has been sworn in as president with an internet blackout still holding after election protests in which the opposition alleges hundreds were killed by security forces. Hassan, who according to the Tanzania Electoral Commission won 98% of the vote, took the oath in front of officials and foreign dignitaries on what appear to be parade grounds in State House in the capital Dodoma rather than at a stadium as usual. France says it will build modular prisons manufactured in factories and assembled on site. The country's justice minister made the announcement after visiting the prison where the first such project has been planned.
We will now build prisons in France within a year and a half, whereas until now it has taken between 5 and 7 years on average and at 2 or 3 times lower cost, around 200,000 euros per place.
China on Monday responded to warnings by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that the U.S. could raise tariffs on China if it backtracks on rare earths. China's foreign ministry spokesperson said that the top priority is for both China and the U.S. to earnestly implement the important consensus.
Regarding China's rare earth export control policy, China's competent authorities have repeatedly stated their position. I believe the outcome of the China-US economic and trade talks in Kuala Lumpur fully demonstrates that dialogue and cooperation are the correct way to solve the problem, and threats and pressure will not help solve the problem. At present, I believe that the top priority is for both China and the US to earnestly implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state during their meeting in Busan to inject more stability into China-US economic and trade cooperation and into the world economy.
Earlier on Sunday, Secretary Bessent warned that the US is prepared to raise tariffs on China if Beijing continues blocking rare earth exports. In other news, President Draupadi Murmu addressed the Uttarakhand Legislative Assembly on the occasion of the completion of 25 years of the creation of the state of Uttarakhand. The President highlighted the advancement made by the state in the fields of tourism and education. Addressing legislators, the President said development and public welfare are above politics. Uttarakhand's Chief Minister and the Leader of the Opposition were present on the occasion. President Murmu spoke about the state's achievement in the past 25 years, including in social development and women's empowerment.
मुझे ये जानकर प्रसन्नता हुई है कि राज्यों में साक्षरता बढ़ी, महिलाओं की शिक्षा में विस्तार हुआ है, मातृ एवं शिशु मृत्यु दर भी कमी आई है तथा स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं को सुलभ बनाने में प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। महिला सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में किए जा रहे प्रयासों की मैं विशेष सराहना करती हूँ।
To sports news now, India clinched the Women's Cricket World Cup for the first time by beating South Korea by 52 runs at Navi Mumbai. A number of records were set in the tournament. DD India's Suchitra takes a look at some of them.
India's score of 298 runs for 7 wickets is the second highest total in a final. India have become the 4th team to win the World Cup. Australia have won the title 7 times, England 4 times and New Zealand once. Deepti Sharma scored 58 runs and took 5 wickets in the World Cup final. She is the first player to achieve this feat in an ODI knockout match. Deepti Sharma is the second player to take 5 wickets in final. She is also the first player to score more than 200 runs and take more than 20 wickets in a World Cup. Shefali Verma is the youngest player to be named player of the match in the final at the age of 21 years and 278 days. South Africa captain Laura Wolvaardt has become the highest scorer in a World Cup with 571 runs.
2025 Women's World Cup will always be remembered for Deepti Sharma's all-round performance in the tournament and also South African skipper Laura's consecutive centuries in the semi-final and the final. All in all, this Women's World Cup will always be remembered as the most keenly contested World Cup and having an Asian team as a champion for the first time. With camera person Ashish Sharma, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India in Navi Mumbai.
So, for the first time, Indian Women's Cricket World Cup was won by India by beating South Africa by 52 runs at Navi Mumbai. In some other sports news, Yannick Sinner reclaimed the #1 spot in the rankings after he clinched the Paris Masters for the first time. The 24-year-old beat Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-4, 7-6 in the final in Paris on Sunday. The Italian first claimed the #1 ranking in June last year and held it for 65 weeks until he lost the US Open title match to Carlos Alcaraz and the #1 spot in September. Reclaiming the top spot from his rival tasted even sweeter for Sinner after he went down in a remarkable 5-set final to Alcaraz at the French Open. Sinner has now won 5 titles this season, including the Australian Open and the Wimbledon. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You may wish to scan the QR code that's now on the screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.